This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit EspolónTequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Violator by Depeche Mode. This is Enjoy the Silence. I actually saw these guys once perform at Giant Stadium. And I think the Pixies and the Rockets also performed that night, but I was pretty high. I don't really remember. Anyway, this has been a blast all week long during this hour. Brian Kilmeade will be back from vacation Monday, so we go back to 4 hours of Sid and Friends in the morning. It's been 5 3 days this week, 6 hours 2 days ago. But the joy has really been working alongside one of the greatest radio personalities in the history of our business, and we're lucky enough to have him at this station 8 to 11 every Sunday night. My dear friend, the multi-talented Anthony Cumia. Anthony,
Sid.
Good morning.
Sid. Always amazing working with the great Sid Rosenberg. And, I was listening to the show before we just started just now, and you are an anomaly, my friend. You're talking about all the things you accomplished. Class president, great tennis player, played golf with Mad Dog Russo, and all when you were on drugs. Like, you are not a good advertisement to keep kids away from drugs. Sid's like, hey, kids, look, you could do drugs and be a complete screw-up and still do very well for yourself.
You're so funny, and you're brilliant, you're funny, but I have to tell you, just to add to what you just said, when they ask me to speak to young kids who are looking to get into our business, Anthony, and they expect me to say, well, I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, or, well, I studied tapes of Howard Cosell and Don Imus. No, I say to the kids, the fastest way to success is do what I did. Two things in particular, rehab and jail.
And if you make it through, you get spit out the other end, and you could be a professional broadcaster.
Right, and I kind of say it tongue in cheek, but I'm not really, because, and you can attest to this because you're as good as anybody ever in the history of our business. Without life, right? I don't care how much you know. You watch Fox News all day. You read every article. You know everything about every country. It doesn't matter. You're never, ever, ever going to be the entertainment genius. You're not going to get the big money and the big ratings unless you've got life stories.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen these guys, and like you said, been through Connecticut School of Broadcasting or any other broadcast school, and they know the alloy that the transmitter tower is made out of, but they can't string together a coherent sentence.
Right.
And not an interesting story to be found. They're not passionate about anything, so anything they talk about isn't really compelling. And now, unfortunately, that's also expanded into the world of podcasting, because everybody and their mother has a podcast now.
I know.
I always talk about this. You could go to Best Buy and buy a podcast kit where you just go home, plug it in, set it up, and now, boom, you're a professional podcaster.
I know.
And that's what, because I just did an interview. It just went up. It's on my Twitter, Anthony Cumia. And I did this interview a while ago, and the guy said, why go back to terrestrial broadcast radio when podcasting's a thing. It's like it's all come full circle. You know, when radio was the big thing and podcasting was just kind of a small time thing that a few people did, everyone wanted to gravitate toward podcasting because it was rebellious, it was different. And now that's super saturated with just some of the most untalented, boring people I've ever seen.
You're being kind.
Broadcast radio.
Right. You're being kind when you say some. I mean, I'll be honest, there's been discussions in my household over the years. Yeah. You know, look at Joe Rogan. He's making $35 million. Sid, you can make $30-something million. You're every bit as good, better than Joe Rogan. Why are you wasting your time in terrestrial radio? And I would say to them, because, yes, for every Joe Rogan, there's 1 million kids in their parents' basement with 70s porn on in the background and old Chinese food boxes littered all over their couch.
Hey, I'm not in my parents' basement, Sid. At least get that part right.
But it's true. They're like, everybody's Joe Rogan. No, and he's not even all that good. But he is what he is. He's a major success. He's had more success than I'll ever have. But for every one of him, there's literally thousands of people doing these crappy podcasts who will never, ever have any notoriety or money.
Yeah. And I believe broadcast radio is still, even though people have spelt out its death knell for years now, broadcast radio is still the litmus test. You can't really be that bad if you're on the radio. You can't just all of a sudden decide, hey, I'm going to be on the radio and do it. You could do that with a podcast. Yeah. And that's why we have a multitude of just untalented, boring people. And it's mostly a grift. They're all just trying to get whoever's watching them to send them money. They don't give them anything for it. They don't give them entertainment. So radio is still kind of that litmus test for people that know how to do this, Sid.
I know this. I do a morning show in the biggest media market in the world, and you've had tremendous success in this market all times of the day with terrestrial radio and even satellite radio. And when I leave these studios, that 1 hour trip home, Anthony, between taking the 4 or the 5 train down to Wall Street, the 6 block walk to Wall Street, the ferry home, and the shuttle to my house, I get stopped on average 10 times a day from people that love listening to me, this radio show, this station. And I promise you, there's probably 50 podcasters on the boat, and no one knows who they are.
Sid, it's been great kissing each other's ass here and telling each other how amazing we are, but maybe we should talk about something else.
But wait a second. One more thing. I'm not ready to move on just yet. Did you see the numbers that you and I get and continue to YouTube, our discussion about Howard Stern? Now, that was you. That was not me. I asked a couple of questions. You did an amazing job. Congratulations on that.
It's you know, I like using the technology available these days. Obviously, I never stopped. You know, I've been a nerd, a science nerd and a tech nerd my entire life. That's how I kind of got into podcasting many, many years ago, because I just liked the equipment, the technology behind it. And, you know, I utilize social media a lot. I have my YouTube channel, which does very well. I get a lot of views on that. I'm getting a lot of views on the WABC social media platforms. And, you know, you gotta stick with the times. That's another thing. And that's something, you know, to bring up Howard again, that's something he just stopped doing. He's a boomer and he never wanted to embrace technology and still do what he did, but kind of utilize the modern technology that's out there now. And I think that's really, really important for a broadcaster these days.
Couldn't agree more. And our boss, Chad Lopez, started talking about these things, Anthony, 9 years ago at Madison Square Garden. Yep. And I would say, this guy's crazy, but he's going to be right. And he was right. One more, then we'll take a break, get to the serious stuff, because you're such a great entertainer. So I piss people off at Fox News all the time.
Yes.
Because even though Kilmeade has me on his TV show often, he's on my radio show every week, he's on this station every day. I love the guy. You know, Janine Pirro and I, very close. Mark Levin, Sean Hannity. They're all my buddies. But I don't think that Greg Gutfeld is Johnny Carson or David Letterman reborn. I think what he's got going for him is he's the lone Republican guy. I'm not saying he's void of talent. He's a talented guy, does a nice job on the 5, and his show is doing well. But for me, that's more a product of he's the only Republican, right? Fallon, and not even Fallon. He's actually okay compared to Kimmel and Colbert and the rest of them. So Fallon decides I'm going to bring on Greg Gutfeld last night on the Tonight Show and do some cross-promoting, right, Anthony?
Right, yes, okay. I saw some of that.
Well, let me play this. Lou, play cut number 16. Then I want Anthony's opinion on Gutfeld's performance last night and what you think about Gutfeld in that very successful late-night spot at Fox News. This is cut number 16.
I walk into this bar, and I'm with my friend Andy. We just got off shooting something, and I walk in, and I'm looking around. I go, what the hell have I got it into? And then I see you, and you look at me, and you have your eyes just kind of explode, and you run towards me and you tackle me like you're like a giant golden retriever. You're like on top of me. And so we're wrestling. And then you change and you start wrestling my buddy Andy. And you're wrestling him. And you guys get on the ground. You guys are now on the ground wrestling. And so I pull out a cigarette. I light a cigarette and I'm smoking it. And you stop and you come over to me and you grab it and you crinkle it and you go, these things will kill you. And you threw it. And then I go, dude, I'm not rich. You're rich. I have to put, cigarettes are expensive in New York City. I yell, and all of a sudden your face changed and you looked sad. And then you left.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, you come back with a fresh pack of Parliaments and you hand them to me and you go, here. And I go, that was really sweet. You want me to die. But then, so get this. So we're smoking and we're drinking. It's really weird. And then you go, hey, let's go to another bar. And so I go, okay, so we pile into the back of your car. It's a back seat. You got a driver. It's me, Andy, you, somebody else. I don't know. Who cares? Probably dead. We drive. But get this. The amazing thing about this is we drove, took a quick left, got out to another bar. It's the same building. We drove from one door to another door.
Yeah, but he had a nice ride,
yes,
right?
Yeah. So I think he wanted to impress that you had a driver.
Now, Sid, what I get from this clip, first and foremost, is that Fallon was very uncomfortable during it because he's had allegations against him that he really drinks a lot. He's very belligerent and irresponsible when he drinks. And this was a story about how drunk Jimmy Fallon was.
Yep.
So that's what I took away from it when I heard the clip earlier. But as far as
by the way, you can see that, to your point, Anthony's very smart. You can actually see that from Fallon's body language when you watch it.
Very uncomfortable. He doesn't like talking about his days of really getting hammered. Now, I've been out with Gutfeld a few times after recording Red Eye when that was on at Fox, and he could drink back in the day. And it was always fun. And always alcohol was a big part of the after show ritual. Wow. So I know he could drink, and Fallon, we've heard, like I just said. Yeah. But as far as the appearance goes, and Gutfeld himself, I think he's not only the only Republican over at Fox News, he's an anomaly over there as a Republican. Not a Republican at Fox News. There's plenty over there, but on late night television.
Right.
He's an anomaly. He surrounds himself with funny people. He has comics on and news people, and they're very funny. I think he writes a good monologue for himself, but I don't even think he's trying to be Johnny Carson or Letterman reincarnated. And I think that's why it does so well, is that it's different from those typical late night shows. Yeah. And even Fallon is different from Kimmel. And I think Fallon's still under that network thumb. And it's agenda driven. I mean, it's NBC. They're very liberal. And I think they've tamed that down with him and tried to make him not as political. They'd rather have him crack raw eggs over Sidney Sweeney's head than talk about Trump.
So would I. And it's worked for him, by the way. He just got a contract extension. Trump's been saying for days, Kimmel and Fallon are next. Not going to happen.
No.
Fallon's going to stay because of what you just said, Anthony. You're right. He's not nearly as toxic and nasty as Kimmel and Colbert. By the way, I like Jimmy Fallon. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more. This is the great Anthony Cumia with me, Sid Rosenberg. This dream combination comes right back at you right after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, folks. Time now to do the Anthony Cumia, Sid Rosenberg Sports Report. Now, of course, I know you think we're going to talk about the Yankees struggling, taking on Houston, or the New York Mets struggling, taking on Milwaukee. Both of those clubs, first-place teams, the Astros and the Brewers. So it's about to get worse for the Mets and Yankees. Or maybe that the Giants start their preseason tomorrow against the Buffalo Bills, or the Jets start their preseason tomorrow night against the Green Bay Packers, or that Daniel Jones had to play quarterback for the Colts last night because the starter Anthony Richardson got hurt. Now, when Cumia and Rosenberg do sports, we talk about dildos on a basketball court.
Yes, Sid, there was another dildoing on the courts of the WNBA.
Have you made that a verb now? It's a verb.
Dildoing.
Yes.
Yeah. And, of course, this, I believe, was the third dildoing that we've had. This one, a different color, purple, not the fluorescent green we've become so accustomed to watching a flail and flop around on the court. Governor Hochul has spoken out about this. She's asking for common sense dildo control because it's getting out of hand. It's very dangerous. There's no reason anyone should have an assault dildo. And these things must be confiscated and banned. So she's pushing for that. Sophie Cunningham from the Indiana Fever, who, by the way, I mean, stunning. And before the dildo thing, this was the thing, like how she is unbelievably hot in an ocean of lesbians.
Right, not just lesbians, but, you referred to both me and Gutfeld as anomalies in the first segment. Cunningham, because she's attractive. There are attractive lesbians, many.
True.
But they don't play basketball. So she's because she happens to be, like you said, a very, very attractive lady in the WNBA, not exactly stacked with that. That's all. It's okay. They can play ball, but they're not good looking.
Yeah. Sophie Cunningham's mom has been sending her texts, and it's kind of gone viral because she's very open about it. She did an interview on one of the podcasts, one of the good ones, I guess. And she said her mom has been sending her texts before the game that say, watch out for flying dildos.
Come on.
Which is hilarious. I swear.
Come on. Not flying elbows like you get underneath the basket.
Right. Do you think they'd, you watch basketball players, they get tapped and they take the big dive on the floor. Could that happen if a dildo hits one of these girls and they just flop on the floor and people watching go, oh, come on, it barely touched her.
Yeah.
And then,
because I was told that Sophie Cunningham at the end of the game actually walks back on the court, picks him up, and takes him home.
She doesn't even use her hands.
That's a great visual.
It certainly is.
Right? So that's the big sports story of the week, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a continuing thing. I mean, I don't see this stopping because it's the single most entertaining thing about WNBA.
It's true.
No one cares. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm sorry. And I'm not dissing the ladies here. Yeah, I'm not calling them nappy-headed hoes, baby. But, no one's really watching for their on-the-court basketball prowess. So, this is something that people want to see it. They want to see that thing flop out onto the court.
I agree with you. Locally here last year, the New York Liberty, was that last year, Lou? They actually won the championship. And I remember coming in that morning, and the traffic guy, Joe Nolan, was talking about the potential traffic in New York City. I said, what's going on today? He said, they're having a parade for the New York Liberty. I said, what? I mean, they won. Congratulations. Seriously, it's a great thing. They won a championship. They should be celebrated. You're going to take the New York Liberty down the Canyon of Heroes?
Oh.
Of course, everybody agreed with me, but no one had the balls to say it. And that's why I get fired all the time. I used to.
So, I'm guessing there wasn't a big turnout. I have to guess that the traffic report was smooth sailing, crosstown, uptown, midtown, and I don't see anywhere of note.
That's funny. I don't remember what the turnout was. I know the mayor made a big deal, obviously, and
who was mayor then? Was it?
It was Adams.
Oh, it was Adams.
It was last year. So. Yeah.
Oh, did you have your little meeting with Adams?
I'm glad you asked, Anthony.
Yes, I remember.
It's today.
Oh, it is today.
Yeah.
Is it just a sit down in the office meeting, or is it lunch or dinner or something?
These are great questions. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. You know, initially they told me the venue, the time, and I coughed it up. I started getting phone calls, like a lot of them, man, a lot. The Daily News and New York Post.
Sure.
So there's this one guy, and I kind of like this guy now. I didn't before because he would say horrible things about me. But his name is Chris Sommerfeld.
So did I, Sid.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes,
look,
you did.
Now we're pals.
Yeah, now we're great buddies. Listen, J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler. Who cares?
Yes.
You move on. So this guy Sommerfeld would write this nasty stuff about me. He covers the mayor daily, and he hates the mayor, okay? Mm-hmm. So he starts calling me, and I give him all the information. Gracie Mansion, 2 o'clock Tuesday. And I don't think City Hall was happy that I gave out all those specifics because, you know, there's going to be 90 guys standing outside Gracie, so.
Yeah.
All I know is the meeting is today, and even if I knew the venue and time, which I do, I'm going to say that I don't, so.
Why can't I keep it out of my mind that I believe it's going to look like Joe Pesci's scene in Goodfellas when he thinks he's being made? You're going to walk in and go, "Oh, hi, Mayor. Hello." Oh, no. I hope not. But I got to give him credit. You haven't been a fan of his. You obviously are putting all your support behind Curtis, which is what everyone that has half a mind in New York City should be doing. So what's his angle on this to try to ingratiate himself with you? So, on the number 1 rated morning show in New York, you're a little lighter on him?
Well, look, you know what it is. You're driving around town and you hear this loudmouth, unafraid, and you're the same way. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to get texts every 10 minutes from your friends. Hey, Sid just said that. So there is some of that there, but
little damage control, little fire.
Yes.
Put out the fires.
Right. Plus, I think he generally liked me when we were friends last year, and I liked him. But I think even more than that, from me at least, my motivation is, well, yes, Anthony, I am putting all my eggs into Curtis's basket.
Yeah.
I'm really not because I'm not because if I find out, for example, come October or late September, 4 to 6 weeks away from the election, that Curtis, based on that data, can't win. I've told Curtis this, and he appreciates it. If he can't win, but Adams or Cuomo can, then I will consider jumping ship because for me, as much as, yes, I'm dying for Curtis to win, the most important thing is for Mamdani to lose. So if I find out that Adams or Cuomo's got a better chance, I'm going to jump ship. Now, Adams right now has the least chance.
Yeah.
He's polling horribly.
Are you gonna bring this up at your little shindig with him?
Well, let me ask you this: how would you do that?
I don't know. I talking him out of dropping out of the race is probably a tough nut. But I would have to bring it up. Like, hey, maybe not in that way. You'd probably ask him something to the effect of, so what do you think your chances are? Have you seen the polls?
Yeah.
Do you have plans for your post-mayoral life?
See, no one's going to drop out. He's not going to drop out because he's getting money, right? He's the incumbent. The real estate guys are giving him money.
Well, he doesn't get matching funds.
No, he didn't get matching funds. Yeah. They actually said they think he's up to some shenanigans. They said no, but he's got millions already, and the real estate guys are giving him more. So, and he's the incumbent, and he's got a big ego, so he's not going to quit. Curtis is not going to quit. He's a lone Republican. Andrew's not going to quit. He's in second place, and you can make fun of him all you want. He got over 400,000 votes in the primary, and Mamdani's the leader. So there's no realistic discussion about any of these four men quitting anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm afraid for New York, though, because, looking at Mamdani and what a juggernaut he's been during the primaries and even now against these other three candidates, it doesn't look good for New York. It just doesn't look good. Another move by New Yorkers to damage themselves, damage their cities. And, they'll just keep complaining. If he does win, God forbid, there's going to be more complaining. Like, oh, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Why is this? Why is crime up even more? Why are prices high? Why are the homeless still rummer? It will continue happening, and people won't understand that they brought it on themselves.
You're 100% right. You get what you vote for.
Yeah.
Right? Don't vote for somebody and then bitch about it. Whether it's Alvin Bragg, our crappy DA, or the mayor. Oh. You get what you vote for. Quick break. We'll come back. Anthony and I are still together. Maybe a surprise guest for a couple of minutes. So surprising, Anthony's surprised. We'll see. Anthony Cumia and Sid Rosenberg. We'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
My favorite band, U2, still haven't found what I'm looking for. And with that said, happy birthday to one of the great band members, not Bono, not Larry Mullen Jr., not Adam Clayton, but the Edge. The great Edge. Is he 64?
First, it's the Joshua Tree. It's not Unraveled.
Oh, you're right. It was a Joshua Tree.
I just want to make sure you...
No, you're right. With or without you and this song, and very good.
Edge is not happy with you right now.
I'm sorry, Edge. You're right.
You're a little bit stupid, man, in there. It's like I'm in Dublin, right there.
You're right, the Joshua. Come on,
Tree.
Sid.
You're the fan, not me. I don't know what you're talking.
Is he 64 today?
64.
So that makes him... Oh, he's the same age as Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Well, how old are you?
64. Sid, this just in. The Chicago Sky has just signed the purple dildo to a multi-million-dollar deal. It is now the most popular player in the WNBA. Just to get that out.
Well, I just got this from my friend Lynn, and this is a very popular social media account. I'm sure you follow it, Anthony.
Yes.
Cat Turd. You familiar with this?
I am familiar with Cat Turd. Yes.
Right. It reads this. There's been more green dildos thrown on the courts of WNBA games than illegals crossing the border in the last 3 months. We're so back.
We are so back. Right. It's true.
It is true. I mean, look at the numbers. Maybe not a year ago, because Biden and Harris started to catch on that, oh, my God, we're going to lose, so let's make up stuff. But go back to 2 years ago and look at the numbers of folks that were coming into this country. I'm not even talking about the ones we have no idea where they are, who they are, those 2 million. And the numbers were astronomical, Anthony.
Oh, yeah. And they were talking about how they were tough on the border, and they're down there and they're making sure that we have border security. And then that ridiculous thing, every time they asked that dummy, Kamala Harris, about the border, she'd be like, well, there was the bipartisan bill that they didn't sign because Trump said. And we all knew that was nonsense, because look what Trump did. No bill, no nothing. He sent down the United States military to protect our own border. What a novel idea that was.
I loved your impression, too, because you added the giggle. Look, I've been around a long time. If God is good to me, Ant, I'll be 59. Not 64, but 59 come next April.
God bless.
Thank you. And I've seen some really bad politicians. I was alive to see A-Beam, for example, when he was mayor here in New York, or David Dinkins, who was a very nice man, but a horrible mayor. This Harris, I've never seen anybody less prepared. And I'm going to say this, at the risk of upsetting women and maybe even some black people. She was dumb. She's stupid. She's going to run for governor of California based on what? She's dumb.
Yeah, not a bright girl. And she just had nothing going for herself going into that election. And because the media, for the most part, is a propaganda wing for the left, we were told she was the most amazing candidate. Barack Hussein Obama said she is probably the most qualified person to ever run for president.
He did say that, but remember that she was running for a couple of weeks and we hadn't heard from the Obamas.
Oh, right, yes.
Remember? And then all of a sudden she got that rigged phone call from Barack and Michelle.
Yep.
So he had to lay it on. And I remember saying this that day. He had to lay it on, like you just said, really thick, because the truth is he knew she was a moron. He knew she couldn't win. So he waited to the last minute to call her, and then he laid it on real thick.
Yep. And did you see now recently the Obamas sold their house there in the Vineyard?
I did see that.
$37 million. I think they bought it for $11 million.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow.
Just a few years ago. And, does it come with the haunted chef that was possibly murdered while he was surfboarding?
Right.
Possibly.
The old Vince Foster deal.
Yeah.
The amount of money that the Obamas made over the years is perverse. I mean, all these guys.
All of them. Pelosi. Yeah. You're telling me that on her salary they've amassed hundreds of millions of dollars? Or does she know what deals are going to be made and what regulations are going to be put on or lifted?
Yeah.
And then invests through her husband when he's not getting hammered on the head by some homeless guy.
Right.
He's a world-class investor. Amazing. Millions.
I got to think whatever Martha Stewart went to jail for.
Oh.
Nancy Pelosi's done worse. I mean, she knew about Nvidia before they did. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. The deregulation, all because politics plays into the corporate world so much. They're hand in hand. How the hell do you let them actually invest in these companies when they know what's going to happen?
Shouldn't be allowed.
No.
Well, have you done, you made millions of dollars in your career, literally millions. I have not.
Yes.
But you made millions. Did you invest properly?
Well, I didn't. I had really smart people around me that demanded I do that. My agent, who, he's not with us anymore, Bob Eatman. You remember Bob? You ever deal with Bob Eatman?
No. I knew Don Buchwald. When he said not with us, I thought it was Don Buchwald because he died. Now Tony Burton gets all these guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know your agent. No.
Yeah, Bob was great, and he really was hands-on with me and Opie, and because we were making him boatloads of money, but he was also a nice guy. And when I got those big paychecks, when we finally signed that WNEW deal, it was a multi-million-dollar deal. I didn't know about this whole world. I thought, I'd go to the cubby at the station and grab my paycheck. And I'd go to the bank and give them a check for $300,000 for that week and go, could you cash this? And I put it in my pocket and go to the bar and buy some drinks. I didn't know. You never see it.
Never.
It goes into a deferred retirement plan and this and that. And thank God.
Right.
Thank God.
Because now with your tender age of 64, you got plenty of money to buy more guns.
That's it. More guns, drones. I like drones. I play around with drones. I got my Belgian Malinois. I got cars. I like fast cars. If it wasn't for Bob Eatman and my finance guy, Barry, it would have been over. I would have blown it all.
Yeah, I would have too.
Life
is good. Yeah, life is good. Well, unfortunately, Anthony, these hours fly by.
They do, Sid.
I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun this week. The people love it. You can watch all this too every afternoon at noon. It goes right up on WABC's YouTube channel, and we're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views because Anthony's such a superstar. This was a lot of fun, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Always a pleasure. Anytime.
You are great, man. He is great. And folks, you can catch Anthony again coming up on his own show this Sunday night from 8 to 11 p.m. Brian Kilmeade will be back from vacation in this spot on Monday. But, Anthony, I got to tell you, what a real honor to do this week with you. And
likewise, my friend.
You are great. I love you, pal. We're done. We're going to hand it off to John Katsimatidis and Curtis Lewa, Lou Rufino, 5 amazing hours, Justin Ellick, Noam Layton, Lisa G., the whole crew. I'm off at some point this afternoon to go meet with the mayor. Once again, you've got John Katsimatidis and Curtis Lewa coming up next. Until Monday at 6. Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?